The pick is in.
Saints have made a selection in the 2024 NFL Draft. Alongside Locked On College Football host Spencer McLaughlin, I'm Tanisha Batiste, and we are joined by Ross Jackson of Locked On Saints to break down the Saints selecting Taliese Fuaga with the number 14 pick. So, Ross, the run of offensive tackles continued with the Saints, but what makes Fuaga a good fit for New Orleans?
Yeah, I think the immediate fit here is that the New Orleans Saints are trying to revamp their offensive system, and a big part of that is introducing wide zone concepts, which include a lot more runs to the outside of the tackles, outside of the tight ends, the things that made Alvin Kamara spectacular in 2017 and 2018. And Taliese Fuaga fits right in with that and should be able to help take this offense to the next level when he's got the opportunity to be out there on the field. He told us after he was selected, when he was doing his media availability with us here at the New Orleans Saints facility, that he feels very comfortable doing that. And that was something that they asked him to do a lot of when he was in college. And so he's ready to get out there and get on the field to start protecting the way and kind of paving the way for these talented running backs here in New Orleans.
Which, Ross, may be very important when you think about the health of Ryan Ramczyk being in question. So what makes Fuaga potentially ready to step in at tackle on day one should he be called?
Yeah, I think it's that familiarity with what the new system is. The New Orleans Saints want their right tackles to be strong because they face a lot of premier edge rushers. I know we tend to elevate the importance of left tackles because they're technically consistently at least blocking the blind side of right-handed quarterbacks like New Orleans Saints quarterback Derek Carr. But hey, on the right side, you got to go up against some elite talent. And so Taliese is one of those guys that should be able to match up very well there. And the big question mark around Ryan Ramczyk is real. You know, with the degenerative knee issue and the things that he's dealing with, not only is it a question mark about whether or not he'll be ready to go for the 2024 season, it's a question mark about whether or not he'll continue his career all told. So getting a guy like Taliese Fuaga who's able to come in, help protect your quarterback and Derek Carr, help pave the way for those running backs, and has familiarity with the type of system that you're trying to implement here in New Orleans, it's massive for the New Orleans Saints, and it's something that could potentially save their chances of competing here in 2024.
And what's the biggest maybe area of improvement for him so that Fuaga can be ready for day one?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think a lot of people have made the assessment that he's a guy that might need to move inside. He's got 33 1/8 inch arms, which is below the typical NFL 34-inch threshold. So a lot of folks look at him as somebody that might be able to move inside. We'll talk to head coach Dennis Allen here later on tonight at the end of the first round, and I expect that he's going to tell us that they very much see Fuaga as a guy that can be out there on the edge and a bookend. So I think that becomes the big thing for him. It's not necessarily an area of improvement, but maybe the one kind of hiccup in terms of what his ability to project to the next level is. But look, this guy is a mauler. He's a road grader, and he plays with a lot of aggressiveness and a lot of intensity. So that might be the other thing that I would watch out for, because you don't want those to convert to flags.
For more on the Saints, subscribe to Locked On Saints on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. And Spencer, when you think back to Fuaga's days at Oregon State, what did you see in him that would show that he could potentially be a starting tackle this early, possibly in his NFL career?
A couple things. First, the guy's just a beast. In the run game in particular, he is someone that, you know, as you heard Ross talking about, is going to fit into that scheme because that's where he really excels. He moves guys out of the way. He turns them around, does whatever he feels like doing or whatever is needed on a given running play. But the second thing is he comes from an offensive system at Oregon State last year under Jonathan Smith, who's now the head coach at Michigan State, that is a very pro-style system. A lot of under center, wide zone play action concepts that are run in the NFL. A lot of Shanahan McVay style of offense that has of course taken the league by storm over the last several years. So Fuaga, a guy coming out of Oregon State, one of their higher draft selections in the last several years. I don't know the last time they had someone go this high, but he's really worthy of it because he had an outstanding career, and I think he jumps right into the NFL and makes an impact for the Saints.
For continuing coverage of the 2024 NFL Draft, subscribe to Locked On NFL on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.